Today, we are discussing overcoming obstacles and owning your own path. My name is Amy Ballantyne. Welcome to Power to the People Pleasers. I'm so excited to have my guest, Brian, here. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you for having me, Amy. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, my goodness. This has been a long time coming because we met in June. Is that right?
Yeah, at Northwestern University, doing
Yes.
a speech, I believe, with Blue Talks.
Yes, yes. It was so lovely to meet you and watching your interview on that stage as well. I was like, this is a human that I want to have in my circle. I want to know because you have such an incredible story and incredible energy. Everything that you do is in service to so many humans, and I'm so grateful to have you in my world. So I always ask, have you ever been a people pleaser? And if so, how did that show up in your life, Brian?
I have, and thank you for the kind words. I appreciate everybody, including yourself there, uh, did a remarkable job of delivering. So you're amazing also. People pleasing. I am, nobody will ever describe me as a people pleaser, but you have those people in your life that you always want to make sure, at least for me, that you attend to or make sure maybe things are good for their lives or they have certain things like my parents. My best friends are my parents, bar none. Outside that, it would go to my family. And then I have some friends I've been friends with since third grade, like
Mm.
8 years old. And I'm that person that will try to do things for people, but I don't care if it's noticed or recognized. I just want them happy. So, I'm not out there like throwing a flag around saying, look at what I did, look what I did. I just want people happy. And a lot of times it's about your behavior. So I know, like, for one of the things, like with my dad, was making sure that I have two sisters, making sure I try to keep peace between my two sisters. I know for my mom, it was probably going to church regularly. That pleased them. So, in that term, yes. But I don't think I'd ever be described as one. But yes, I
Mm.
have them in my life. And you find joy, I've said this, it's part of my coaching. You get what you want out of life by helping others get what they want out of life. And if
Mm.
that's people pleasing, then yes.
Thank you for sharing, and I appreciate you being honest that people wouldn't describe you as that, and I'm happy to hear it that that's the case. I hope that people wouldn't describe me as such of a people pleaser anymore. I really have been on a journey um, to recover from this. Path that I was on for some time of always putting myself last in order to please everyone else. And so I hear you on the keeping the peace and, it would help your mom would love it if you went to church. Like there's some little things that we still do, but the goal is not to kind of reduce our own selves simply to be in that place for others all the time.
That's a dangerous place to go. It's
Hmm.
like the old saying, you can't make everybody happy, and you
Yeah.
can't. And if you're too much of a people pleaser, you end up burning yourself out in ways that don't benefit the people around you, probably that love you the most. And
Yeah.
now you're not pleasing to them, and you don't mean to be unpleasing. And as I tell people, you know what? If you want to make everybody happy, go sell ice cream. There's nothing else we could do in our lives. I'm a coach. Yes, I'm a speaker. I'm a dad. I'm a son. I'm a father. You know what? My job is not to make everybody happy. If you want to make everybody happy, go sell ice cream for a living.
I love
That's
that.
if that's what you want to make everybody happy, do it. But it's unrealistic.
Yes, it is unrealistic, and I appreciate very much you saying that because it could, it could be a tagline, right? If that's your only goal, go sell ice cream. I love it. Okay, so before we dig into our topic today of overcoming obstacles, of which you have had that happen, and we have all had obstacles happen. and owning your path. I'm so excited to read your bio. I want people to know how absolutely awesome you are, and so they know the things that they can look into to learn more about you. But I will of course attach all your links and everything to the show notes. So Brian Swift, aka the Quadfather, is a John Maxwell personal development coach, speaker, best-selling author, and radio personality. Brian lives a life with no excuses. He was born able bodied, and at the age of 17, a tragic football accident left him learning how to live life fully from a wheelchair as a quadriplegic. Through trial and error, pain and joy, Brian walks differently, which includes confidence, grit, compassion, humor. And completing his law degree at DePaul Law School, Brian has worked corporately doing sales and leadership training. He runs a nonprofit called SOAR, which helps people with disabilities access the proper equipment so they can enjoy outdoor activities. Brian is also the host of the All Things Inspirational show on a radio show in Chicago and inspires people of all abilities to live life fully. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to have you here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity, and um, I just do what I do, and everybody deals with the the valleys and the hills and the stumbling blocks of life. I mean, and that's I think one thing that's helped that I learned really young is, being happy isn't about whether you're walking or sitting or standing or running. It's really being happy is an inside job. And I know
Mm,
tons of people that are walking that I would not trade places with because they have not learned how to be happy.
mhm.
So,
Yeah. So I'd love for you to share, share what you want about your story, um, and then maybe add on the journey to the work you did on the inside to get to this beautiful, beautiful energy that you have.
well, thank you. So, I mean, and you read it, it's the day after Christmas. I was playing football with about 10, 12 friends, and I just got tackled. And it wasn't that I fell on my head or somebody hit me in the head or landed on my head or neck, or they have no idea why I broke my CD6 vertebrae and became a quadriplegic. Which, you go
Mhm.
from 17, you got the world by the rear end, you're indestructible at 17.
Mm,
You should feel that way. I hope everybody does. And then you go to not being able to move anything from your neck down. I've been really blessed with at that time my mom, who had amazing spiritual strength, and we were brought up,
mm,
to have faith and this strength, and my dad, who is very old school, and the best way to describe him was tough love.
yeah.
And most people today have no clue what tough love is. And the best way to describe dealing with my accident from my dad's point of view was, after coming home after 4 months of rehab, he must have heard me talking to my mom in the kitchen. And he walked into the kitchen and he said, "If you're looking for sympathy, you could find it in the dictionary between shit and syphilis." And then just kept walking. So, like, that was my dad.
Mm,
Like, that was like, I don't want to hear any whining. You got life, and they were about moving forward. Like,
mm,
just, okay, you're not coming home in an electric wheelchair, so exercise, figure out how to get better. You're not gonna you do this. You're gonna come home, and you're gonna have to go to college because education's your way out. I'm probably was gonna go into the trades, and I mean it just zoomed that way. I mean, after 4 months of the rehab, I got home. I started back to high school because it was my senior year on a Friday. I graduated from high school that summer. I took a class at a junior college so I could kind of understand, what it was like pushing the wheelchair around a college, junior
mhm,
college, and where the classes were, and getting driven by a bus. And in the meantime, I was going out with my friends. My friends would drag me up for therapy. They'd come to the house, help do
mm.
therapy. It just was like I was so inundated. I didn't have time to go down that victim path.
Oh,
No
that's
time. I
important.
just
Yeah.
did it. And people were like, what do you mean you didn't? Every day I had to get up, deal with the wheelchair, deal with other issues, not being, because you don't have control of your bladder. You don't have control of your mouth.
Mhm,
You don't know how you're going to take notes. You can't, that's the most I can move my hand.
mhm,
But, you find out that, um, everything in life is temporary
Mm,
and only there for a short time. Whatever that time is, everything's changing. And, I just try to approach all my messes and appreciate them as blessings because we,
yeah.
we have these divine detours in life our whole life. Since then,
Mhm.
I've done some. I've shattered my femurs. I've broken bones. I've gone toxic from kidney stones. They are divine detours.
Mm,
That's the way I look at them. You can get better or bitter and learn from them, or
mm,
appreciate them and try to find the divineness. And the one thing my mom told me that I've always relied on is, we don't always have answers. Don't know why you broke your neck, and
mhm.
we may never know why. And on my dad's side is doesn't matter. Okay, this is who you are. Now go chase down what you want out of life.
Yeah.
And it worked. It was tough love and faith. The tough love part, I wouldn't be here without it, and definitely not the faith part. I mean,
Mhm.
so that's kind of what just keeps driving me. And then it
Mm,
was, finish my junior college in 2 years, go on to a 4 year university, finish my 4 year university 2 years later. In the meantime, I go on with life. I learn how to drive, I date, I coach athletics at my old high school. I start coaching basketball and football because I love it
awesome.
so much. Um, my dream was to coach in high school,
Mm,
coach football, and now I'm coaching football and basketball at the second level of my life. And going to college and dating and still exercising almost every day. Just stayed that busy. And it's
mm,
amazing what you can do when you're organized and structured and want it that bad. So
mm.
that's move forward, graduated, and then went on to law school. 3 years, 3.5 years later, graduated from law school while still doing all these things, and just kept moving life moving forward.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So many nuggets here I want to pull out. I love that you said appreciate the divine. I love that. I don't think that we talk about this enough. Connecting these obstacles to the opportunity, right? And truly that there is a divine opportunity there, and uh, better or bitter. Oh my goodness. I want to make that into a sign.
I mean, but that's
Better.
life, right? You can
Yes.
take something, you could get bitter about it, or you can get better. And bitter
Yeah.
is it just eats you up. It's just like we all have stumbling. So we're all going to stumble. We're all going to have stumbling blocks. So
Yeah.
when we have these stumbling blocks, I approach them as stepping stone opportunities, or
Mm,
are they just divine detours? And when
mm,
shit hits the fan, and it's gonna in all our lives, it's hard to think of it as a divine detour. But when you reverse back to it's a moment in time,
yeah.
it's not a forever thing, and what can I learn from it? Because John Maxwell, one of the classes, masterminds I teach is sometimes you win. So what's the old saying? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I teach sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. I have
Yes.
not lost in about 20 something years. Why? Because if you're learning from those times you fall, you fail, or you lose, then it is a opportunity to learn and get better.
Mm,
Then it isn't a failure, then it isn't a loss, and it becomes a learning lesson. So I'm
yeah.
either learning or I'm succeeding.
Yeah. My mentor, Gina Molicone Long, says uh, there's no failure, only feedback. And
Absolutely.
so it's an opportunity for us to recognize what is the feedback and how are we going to move forward. And the other thing that I really want to highlight, and I know you're a coach also in all of the work that you do, uh, the desire, the desire to keep moving forward is so critical. And the willingness to do whatever it takes is clear to me that you were not going to sit around being bitter. You were like, you had the desire and willingness just oozing out of you to keep on keeping on.
and people ask why, and I don't know if I have a great answer, and I can just go back to my faith.
Mm.
Fear drove me.
Mm. How so?
When I in 1979, when you broke your neck, you you were a statistic. And in 1979, that statistic uh, made a Stephen King novel look like a
Mm.
rom com. I mean, your life as a quadriplegic was just horrific. I mean, you statistically, your chances of getting everything was, less than 10%. Your statistics of getting married, having relationship, going to school, getting an education, having a job, living out on your own or with friends, driving, and I did it all. And if you buy into
Mm.
that, man, you were just going down a dark rabbit hole. And some people just don't have that support around them. So it wasn't
Mm.
just me. It was understanding it was a divine detour. Don't know why, but
Yeah.
divine detour. And I was blessed with family. But as much as they could push, if I didn't want it or believe in it,
Yeah.
as a coach, you can only meet people as far as they're willing to come, right?
Yes.
I'm sure you've had these clients where I want it more than them. And I'm
Yeah.
working harder than my clients are
Yeah.
for them. And you know what? That doesn't work because if they don't want it, I can't want it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, so I've I've been blessed to always have that. Um,
Mm.
and it's the way I live. It's what I teach. It's how I coach. Everything about me is changing the mindset of the way you see something.
Yeah.
Changing the wording in which you use.
Yeah.
Don't say something sucks. That says something to yourself. Say
Yes.
interesting. That's interesting. And it's amazing the little words we say to ourselves that change us dramatically. I mean, so
Yes.
when I work with clients, I am intimately into their head, listening to them, and then coming down every time with, you need to change these words out. I work with clients where I've had to work with their parents or somebody
Mm.
they're living with to say, you have to also change some of the words you use if you're that concerned about this person to help them so that you're both on the same page.
I'm so with you. Yes, preach, my friend. Oh my goodness. I'm all about language. So I would love to now, okay, we've talked a bit about overcoming obstacles, the divine detours. Now I'd love for us to pivot a little bit to owning your path. And I know that you're alluding to some of this in our language that we're using to speak to ourselves, in how we are going after what we want. And I'd love to know, when you're either coaching or speaking, or obviously you're a coach for people and a coach on the sidelines of the sports and a speaker, can you share a couple of strategies that you use when people aren't taking ownership of the situation?
Well, and first you've got to find the right time. Like
Hmm.
if it's coaching groups, especially athletics, you got to find the right time to have that conversation. Um, if it's coaching an individual, it's really um, first I have them write down the wording they use, and then
Mm.
we replace that wording together, and then anytime we're talking, I will correct them and correct them and correct them. And I try to have as many one-on-ones with, I'm not that coach is like, we're going to meet once a month for 30 minutes. You know what? I know that's what it says, but you know what? I think I need to meet with you 3 times this month. And I'll do
Mm.
that. And nothing's going to change about our agreement for anything just because I'm meeting with you twice because I don't care about the money.
Mm.
And a lot of people find that odd. I care about the results.
Mm.
I want the results because I don't want to fail people and I want to see them change. So, tips like goals, if you don't write it down, your chances of obtaining it are less and less. So, I have them write it down and I ask them to put it where you're going to see it. Put it, even make a smaller version, put it in your wallet, keep a note in your car, keep it hanging in your office, and just don't overwhelm them, as you know, with too much to try to do. It might be
Yeah.
2 words. This week it might be just, let's focus on 2 words.
Yeah.
Stop saying this and stop saying this. And not just stop saying it, but this is why. This is what your
Mhm.
mind thinks when you say something like, I'm tired. What you're doing is making a declaration of how you feel. And now you've just told your body that your body should be tired.
Mm.
I tend to use my first name, or my last name, I should say. My last name is Swift. So it's always been, people have always call me Swifty, And so when I want to address myself or challenge myself, it's, come on, Swifty, you're better than that. Or come on, Swifty, you can do
Mm.
this. Or come on, Swifty, because it registers in the mind now as a challenge to me, and not a declaration of confirming that I'm tired.
Right. Right. What a cool shift there. That's a really cool. It's a small reframe, right, of thinking to
Yeah,
catch them in the action.
absolutely.
Um, I know I was doing a presentation recently, and someone was like, "Well, this is going to be really hard," and I was like, "Okay, and and what are you going to say to yourself next?"
Yeah.
That's like,
How about, this is going to be interesting? You know,
yeah,
going to tell me that that's good.
and I'm ready
I'm
for
going to
this.
step up for it. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And it is
Oh.
those little things. It's amazing, some of the transformations I have in people.
Mhm.
I've been out with them now, and they're correcting their friends.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Or they're correcting their kids,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
what it is. It's a transferable opportunity to rewire our brains, which are malleable, um, and we all need that, especially through tough times.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. Okay, so you have a free ebook called Transformed that you are giving to the listeners, and I'll drop
Yes,
the link for people to grab that. Can you just share a little bit about what's in there so people go grab it?
yes, it's little tips like this that we've just
Yeah.
been
Awesome.
talking about, in ways to, nobody. First of all, we didn't get where we were overnight. You don't change overnight. It takes effort. It takes effort. It takes execution. It takes being present. But if you want to be something different than you are, you can be, because our minds are malleable. And this goes to neuro linguistics programming, and you
Mm.
can do it. Problem is, it, you got to be patient with it. You got to be, as you know, you got to be consistent. You got to be committed. And I guarantee, if you do those 3 things, and if you're struggling, bring somebody into your life. Bring somebody like Amy into your life that can help you as a coach, just even be more accountable, and add some of the things that you do down your path. There are a lot of us out there, Amy, that are truly devoted to seeing those types of changes. That's because you came what you. So that's why you're doing what you're doing. Not just to be a people pleaser, because
Mhm.
I say things to people that they may not like to hear, but I
Same.
I owe them that. I
Yeah.
owe them that. And if you want to hire a coach, it's going to tell you everything you want. Go to Baskin Robbins and have them coach you. I don't know what to tell you. I mean,
Oh my goodness, Brian. Okay, I'm gonna wrap us up on that note because I think you and I could talk all day, and we probably should have a
whenever,
longer
you know what,
podcast.
I am here for you. Um, Anything I can ever do for you, or any of the people you come across. But I would love to do this more often, because I do too much talking. I want to hear the inside of your mind, what's rattling around, because
Um,
that's how we learn and grow.
well, I appreciate you so much for being here with me today. You're truly a bright light, and I thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And to all of our listeners, I want to send you sincere thanks for listening to Power to the People Pleasers yet again. Please stay tuned for the next episode coming soon. Have a great day.
And Merry Christmas.